especially because me and my guy Boz, who's with me again, we were talking about this like 4 or 5 hours before the week 1 reveal, and then a match happened, and it literally encapsulated what we were talking about. So we're gonna see if we can't get in this match and show you guys what we were talking about, how important an initial setup is. It's far more important than just the kickoff. So see if we can't load in and show you this to you guys. Hopefully, if this works, we'll be able to show you the initial setup for one that isn't as precise, and show you the flaws on both sides, and kind of get into the thought process of an initial setup, and then we'll switch over and we'll show you one that's pretty locked tight, and how it can not only lock down the options for turn 1, but also bleed over into turn 3 even. So well, with that being said, I do want to thank Boss for joining me again. And
yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure, man. I love doing these. We have a bunch of ideas lined up for you guys, so it's gonna be really good. I just loaded in, Boss, so I'm gonna skip the intros. I got kicked out, so I'm assuming that you're already in.
Yeah, I can go back to the very beginning.
Yeah. If you want to go back, let's watch this from the Kimry perspective. So I know what all Kimry coaches, well, most Kimry coaches want to defend their Tomb Guardians because they are the crux of the team. So facing this Nurgle team that has some Mighty Blow Claw, he has 1 Mighty Blow Claw, he's got 2 block Nurgle warriors, he's got a Beast of Nurgle, and he's got a Super Ball Carrier. So you feel like you can abuse your strength with the 2 guard, but then you realize that you really can't, because he's got 4 strength 4 and a strength 5, and he's got a guard of his own. So I'm going to pause it after the Nurgle finishes setting up. Looks like he's done right now, so I'm going to pause it. And this is the issue, because I was watching this match live, and he was actually talking to me in party chat, my buddy, really good friend of mine. So we're going to go over the issue here, and that's number 1 from the Kimry perspective. If a guy has a Mighty Blow Claw, right, you don't want to put your Tomb Guardians anywhere near blitzing range or hitting range of this Mighty Blow Claw, because you have decay. Mighty Blow Claw is overpowered in 2016, we all know that. The only chance this Nurgle team really has, because they can't really fight for long, is to remove a Tomb Guardian, especially a guard Tomb Guardian. So when he put that guard Tomb Guardian on the LOS, he put 2 of them on the LOS, I'm instantly thinking, I can't fight both sides of this line because of the strength, but I can dominate one, and I can even blitz down another Tomb Guardian if I want, and leave the rest of that mess behind. So I'd instantly pick a side. I'd put my guard warrior on the left side, right next to the Mighty Blow Claw and the block. I'd put my other block Nurgle warrior right next to the skeleton, that's also next to the Mighty Blow Claw warrior, and I'd make it so my Beast of Nurgle had 3 die blocks on that in front of him. So I'm maximizing all of my Mighty Blow hits, I'm using all of my block hits, and I'm destroying that LOS, the Kimry LOS, without getting stuck into fighting. Because once I knock down the guard Tomb Guardian, I can blitz the Mighty Blow Guardian very easily. And like I said, we're not in base with anything else, and then we're free to move and abuse our speed. So this is what he decided to go with instead. I'm going to hit play, and he opens up with the Beast of Nurgle play, which is a 1, and then goes into another 1 dot, which is a block, but then he goes into a blockless 2-die, which is a 1 and 9. So that's very important because his very next block, as we see, is going to be a death. Now, had that sequence, you know, been done in the correct order, he wouldn't have had to use a reroll, and that death would have been on the Tomb Guardian, the guard guy. So now the Kimri are basically out of the drive already. The Nurgle still have all 3 rerolls. The Beast is now free to act right now, and the Nurgle are then free to blitz yet another Tomb Guardian. So you would have removed the Tomb Guardian, you could have blitzed down another one, possibly removed that. Your Beast of Nurgle can now do a 3-die on a skeleton with Mighty Blow, and the rest of your players are free to move. And you've left behind 4 Kimri players, 2 of them being Tomb Guardians, 1 of them being a Blitzra, and you've won the turn 1. But because everything was done out of sequence, block wasn't used, the turn 1 Beast of Nurgle play into the force reroll means that you couldn't have attacked the Tomb Guardian, and so you squandered a death. So we're going to hit play, and now he's going to go after the Tomb Guardian, but it's with block instead of Mighty Blow Claw. The Mighty Blow Claw was the win condition, so we have to focus everything that we're doing around the win condition. So he picks it up because of extra arms, but then he runs towards the Strength 5 Tomb Guardian, and now we're not even in a cage. So we're out of position, the Beast has gone stupid, and now the Kimri can force their power, and they dodge the bullet because they exposed their best player, and he's still alive, and they still have their 5 rerolls, and the Nurgle's down to 2. So we're just gonna let this this play out here. If you want to chime in, Boz, you.
Yeah, no, I was just you know, letting you kind of say your piece there. You know, on offense, you know, people think they have to be absolutely balanced.
Yes.
You know,
that was
throughout
my
the
next
formation,
point, yeah.
and you don't have to be.
No.
You know, it's like what you said. You can choose a side. Yes, you don't want to overload completely to one side. You don't want to be absolutely screwed against a blitz. The blitz doesn't hurt you as bad against a Kimri because they can't necessarily get the ball as well as like an elf coach.
Right.
But you know, as we've seen in other games, you know, Kimri with the blitz is very dangerous.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
If done properly and in a measured way. But I will say that even though the Nurgle's turn 1 wasn't perfect, they didn't leave anything based. So that even though they kind of squandered some opportunities and they killed the wrong player and whatnot, and the turn ordering wasn't right, at least they salvaged the turn to where they didn't leave any hits. So they're only going to receive 1 hit going into Kimri's turn 1.
See, but so it feels good initially, but the issue is just because they didn't leave anyone based, the Kimri are going to make sure that now everyone is based, and they get to choose where they put their guard into. They get to choose where their blitz rods are going, and you look at turn 2,
right?
They swarmed around, so now the Nurgle have nowhere to go, and the guard has now guard locked both sides of the pitch. Whereas in turn 1 it was impossible for them to do that, but because the Nurgle squandered their turn 1, now the Kimri have gone from having to line up and get hit in the face to we dodged the bullet, he ate a reroll, and now it's almost like the Kimri are playing offense now. And so he opens up with a blockless blitz because he didn't set up his block the way that he should have. Now he can't even get a 2-die block with block anymore. So now he's forced to do a 2-die block. Without block, he rolls a 1 and 9 into a 1 and 81, which are unfortunate rolls, but had he lined up correctly, those blocks would have still been 2 dice with block, and he would have been absolutely fine. He would have still had 3 re-rolls, and it would have been in a much better spot. So, so now he's at another turnover, and the ball is completely exposed. He didn't try to activate the beast, which should have been the first action.
And I do want to say too that looked at just I don't know how much time he took.
Yeah.
But to me, that looked like a panic blitz.
No, it was. Yeah. Like I said,
like, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. It's like, hey, you've got things you can do here.
Right.
You know, that Tomb Guardian there does have guard, but he does have a 2-die block with that warrior there on that skeleton.
Right.
You can easily take that, you know, and then you got another 2 dice against that Tomb Guardian there on the right side of the beast from the Kenry's perspective.
Exactly.
And then that frees up another that frees up your goat, your Pestigore, and then you can move some pieces around. And then once you get the ball a little more secure, because ultimately the first thing you really need to do is get the ball safe.
Right. Yeah.
Since he is really right there, he can't run away and be safe because of how close those blitz draws are. So he's forced to do those actions I was just saying. So in my opinion, I think if he took those actions, taking your block with block and freeing up players and then trying to cage the ball, then you can do, you know, risky.
Right.
I wouldn't say risky, but you know, a non-optimal blitz.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then the ball is safe. Even if that blitz fails, the ball is more safe. But since that, you know, he did the blitz first, you know, like you said, the beast is inactive, and his whole team didn't activate that turn. So this really spiraled out of control.
It did literally out of control. Yeah. And so I went to turn 3 while you were talking, and again, he's re-rolling every single failure, and this is what we got on Vorak for in the playoffs, is not even taking time to look at the board state. It's instantly, I just rolled a 1 and 9, I have to re-roll this. And when it works, it's fine, but when it doesn't work, especially when you're out strength and you're not faster than the team that you're up against, you can't afford to just make a move just to make a move. If I have a saying, if the move that I'm making doesn't make sense, then I'm not going to take it, because this is a turn-based game. No one's holding a pistol to our heads to make our moves. We're in full control of every move that we make. It has to have a purpose. And that blitz that he didn't really have a purpose. The priority should have been activating the beast. He was tied up on 3 people. You want to then force him to have to use a Tomb Guardian to clear that beast. You bought the beast for a reason. He's 140k. You have to utilize him. You already hung him out to dry on turn 1 by activating him on turn 1, action 1, which would have only been a 2-die block. It wasn't a safe 3-die block. And then you neglected him on turn 2. So now turn 3, he's still stupid. And now the Khemri are just going to flood in even more. So what looked like it wasn't too bad because we weren't based is now I'm literally surrounded. These Tomb Guardians are going to get free hits on my really good players like he did on the Pestigore. The Pestigores are the key to the Nurgle team. You only get 4 of them. And I'm going to unpause on turn 3, and we're going to see this spiral way out of control. And this is probably going to be the last turn that we're going to watch from this, but I really want to show you guys why these setups matter. So the ball instantly got blitzed by a Tomb Guardian. He has another shot at it. He wisely didn't reroll that because he knows he's got block, and if he can do these 2 blocks successfully, he'll get another 2-die block with block on the ball.
And I will say here, that block that he took against the Rotter with that Tomb
Yeah,
Guardian,
yeah,
that is, in my opinion, the wrong square.
yes, yeah, yes,
Um,
yes,
you want players away from the beast to
right,
further isolate the beast to make it
right,
nearly impossible to use him.
exactly, exactly, yep, yeah, I agree 100%. So here's the block on the ball carrier. How he was patient with the reroll, um, and then here he should have followed up there because you want to account for if the ball does bounce in that square. Had he followed, his opponent would have been forced to roll a 6 to catch it, and it would have scattered again. You ran your throw route up there for a reason, so now you have to remember why you did that, and you have to follow that up to make him roll a 6. Anything other than a 6, he's going to drop the ball, it's going to scatter again, and then your throw route is free to act. And here we go again. Now because he's so desperate, now he's thinking I have to get lucky with attrition, and he does a 1-die blitz with Mighty Blow Claw, and he fails it. And at this particular moment, he's feeling like he's getting diced. And I told him in the party chat live. I said, listen, I'm going to hold my words for after the match, because he and I always talk, after our matches. And I was like, trust me, it's not what you think it is. And so here we go. Turn 4, he blitzes him down, and he's gonna run. He's gonna attempt to run away here, and now he's free to do whatever he wants without consequence. And your Pestigores are free to get punched again. If you lose a single Pestigore with Nurgle, it's basically over. And the Kimry coach is accurately targeting those Pestigores. I really like that. And then
and the Nurgle made it easy to target the Pestigores.
Yes, way too easy.
I think it's just a matter of being more patient. I wasn't there, so I don't know how fast he was taking his turns.
It was fast, dude. It was super fast. So, yeah, it's the thing he and I talked about in private is slowing down. He was playing that super fast. And another thing is chasing casualties. Certain coaches are used to getting casualties, no matter what the race, no matter what the situation. When they don't get them, they start to panic. And we saw it with Kianard and Vorak in the first matchup. We saw it with GR and Black Eyes. But in GR's case, he went out of the gate. He made it a point he was going to get those casualties no matter what. He stuck to the game plan. He was playing the right race, and it worked out. But that is not always going to work out like that. And with the Nurgle, you only have one Mighty Blow Claw, and you only have one Mighty Blow. You got to understand it's going to take a while. And with that strength advantage that they had, you're not going to get as many 2-die blocks as you want to get as many armor breaks, to get as many chances to get casualties. So it was going to be a slugfest and a really tough matchup regardless of removals. You got to be able to play Blood Bowl without relying on removals. This game is way tougher if you don't get removals, but it helps you positionally if you have to play against 11 men for the majority of the match. Anyone can play with, say, against 7, players. It's a large pitch. You have a lot of space. You're not as aware of the mistakes that you're making positionally because you're up on players. If you have to go to turn 13, 14, and the other team still has 11, every square matters. Every decision matters. The blitzes aren't as easy to spot. And it really helps you become a positional coach versus a blocking coach. So,
yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, you do want to get your blocks in. You do want to. The more knockdowns you get, the more likely that you are going to get casualties. But ultimately, if you take a block, you ask yourself if this is a push, am I happy with it?
Right. Right.
And if you are, then okay, take the block, because
Yeah.
ultimately you want to be in a better position
Right.
to start your next action, to start your next turn.
Yeah.
And as far as reroll management, sometimes you take a block and it doesn't work out, and sometimes you have to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard you said that. So he was telling me that he was eating, 1 and 9s. When the definition of eating a 1 and 9 is not using the reroll.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
eat it, you
definition.
take it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't reroll. You save your reroll for later when you need it.
Right. 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 It's not using a reroll, failing it, and then eating it after the fact that you just rolled 4 dice. That's not eating a 1 and 9. Eating it
That's eating a 1 and 81.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They're totally different. Hey, what's up, Steven? We got Steven in chat. So just keep in mind, just because you don't roll what you want to, that does not mean that you ate a poor roll. All right, you used the reroll without hesitation. You didn't eat anything. You chose to not eat it. So I want to show you guys that. So we're gonna switch over.
Well, I do want to say before we do switch over,
Yeah.
if you go to turn 7,
Okay.
so they scored a touchdown, which
Yeah.
I don't like scoring a touchdown when they did.
Mhm.
If you want to try and score twice and a half, you need
Yeah.
to score by turn 5 at the latest. That
Yeah.
gives you 3 turns to turn them over and then try and score. But you're only got 2 turns, and it's very unlikely you're going to do a 2-turn when you're on defense.
Correct.
But if you look at the setup from the Nurgle, because the Camry set up exactly the same way. They didn't change their setup.
Oh,
but
no.
if you look at it, the Nurgle actually set up heavy to one side. So it's like what you said on their first initial setup. You can go to one side.
Yeah.
Imagine if they set up like this and isolate that one Tomb Guardian.
Right.
Right. Because what you said. You knock that skeleton out of the way. You block diagonally. You keep the mummy pinned. Then you blitz the other mummy. You separate the mummies.
Yeah.
And ultimately or the Tomb Guardians, excuse me.
Right.
But if you can separate the Tomb Guardians, that's where you're going to gain success against Khemri, because they need the Tomb Guardians to be together. That's where they're most powerful.
Correct.
So this setup on offense is pretty decent on that one side. I'm not sure about the other. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So what he's saying, guys, and it's right. You do not have to have a symmetrical setup. All right. That's a myth that's been in the game for a while. It doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to work, and it has to have a purpose. If you know the purpose, if you know why you're doing it, if you have a plan, then it's absolutely fine. And it doesn't matter.
If you look, that Rodder standing next to that Tomb Guardian there, what's that Rodder going to do?
Right.
That Rodder's just going to get punched in the face.
Exactly.
And and that Nurgle warrior on that skeleton, what's he doing? Is he going to block? He's going to block 2 die up against the Tomb Guardian.
Right.
If he's going to block the skeleton, he could be standing directly next to the beast. That way, he's not next to the Tomb Guardian.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not sure. Because when I set up, I always try to see what my blitz is before I even get my setup complete.
Oh yeah.
I try to plan. You got to figure out where your blitz is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's all about protecting. So let's swap over to the other match. It'll be Malice Incorporated versus Boredom Inspired, the first one. So it was a tie. It was the 1-1. That's the one that you and I watched on Saturday. So let's head over to that one. I'm clicking in the replay right now just to have it load up.
Which one was it?
So my Khemri team. So Malice Inc. versus Boredom Inspired, and it's not the most recent one, but it's the one before that. It was the tie.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Um, Steven's saying is that's why he took 5 re-rolls because he's bad at, you know, um, he's bad at eating poor dice rolls. You say that, Steven, but you showed really good restraint though. You had 2 chances where you could have re-rolled, but you didn't, and you found another way to get the block. So you're not as bad as you think with that, man.
Yeah, definitely. If you know, have a dice on the ball and you choose not to re-roll it,
Yeah.
that's discipline.
Right, right.
No matter what, when in the turn you are.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And just because, just if it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean it was the wrong choice. There's another problem. A lot of coaches are results-based coaches. So what that means is they'll use a wizard on turn 1 on 2 players. And they'll state, well, that guy had the ball, and I just broke his armor, and I killed him, so it was the right choice. And that's not the right choice. We play a game of odds, and we're always trying to stack the odds in our favor. We're playing with the very poorly optimized dice generator system that's flawed by GW's account and by the player's account. So the only way we can really have a chance, a realistic chance of sustained success, is by playing the odds and by planning. So.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, ultimately, you used wizard on turn 1. What did your wizard accomplish? Like, did you like? So the result is like, you know, did you get the ball and then did it help you score, or
Right.
did you do it just cause? Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
use
you
the
did.
wizard to stop a score or to
Right.
help you score, then that's a successful use of the wizard.
Right, right.
But just using it just cause, that's just not.
No,
You know.
that's impulsive. That's being incredibly optimistic, and that's looking to dice your way to victory because you don't believe that you can outplay your opponent. So you're 150 down, 150k down at the very minimum. You're gonna
Yeah.
waste all 150k, the only equalizing factor on turn 1. So then you just threw your shot to win out of the window because the other team's team value is not going to drastically drop down to match yours. All of their skills and assets are still on the pitch, and now you have to go up against that for 16 turns. So restraint is huge. So I'm actually on my setup right now. So he chose to receive. I know he's got 5 Mighty Blow. I have it paused. By the way, boss. So if you're not there, you can catch up.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my initial thought was, am I able to guard lock him with my Tomb Guardians? Quickly realized the answer was no because he's got 2 guard of his own and 5 Mighty Blows. Like I don't want to take a chance that he'll injure a Tomb Guardian. I don't want to take a chance that he'll knock any of them down because then I have to waste turns standing them up. They'll get hit again. He'll take 1 dice because he's brave. I don't want to do that. So you saw me initially start to put the Tomb Guardians on there, quickly realized that was a mistake, and I hopped off. So then my next point of plan was, how can I protect my players and dictate to him just a little bit? So I went with the offset LOS. That means my line of scrimmage players were all to one side, as you can see. And then my next thought was, who can I protect, and who do I want to get hit? Because someone is going to get hit. If you want to play defense on turn 1, someone is going to get hit. You can't line up, all the way back. That's just not realistic. Someone has to get hit. So I was like, okay, who do I want him to hit? Ideally, I want him to blitz all the way around, and I want him to blitz my Throw-Ra, who has wrestle, all the way in the left side. It's exactly 6 squares to hit me. He'll either have to do 3 GFIs to run back, or he'll have to stay put. Either way, he's now in range of all of my guys that I want to hit him. So that's the goal, is draw him in to blitz the Throw-Ra. He has wrestle. If he rolls double both down, now he has to re-roll that, because if not, I'm going to foul him and hopefully remove him. So that was trap number one. The second thing, trap number two, is he could blitz my block mighty blow right. So you guys see I have a guard blitz rod right there in the middle protecting him, and then I have a mighty blow guard tomb guardian behind him also protecting him. So if you wanted to blitz him, he's going to have to put in at least 3 guard players, or 1 guard player that's basing my mighty blow guard, and then he'll have to blitz in with my, and he'll also have to put another guard on the other side, and then also blitz that corner. So now he's based me with 2 people, so I get two free hits back, plus whatever happens on the line of scrimmage, plus my blitz. So there's there's traps all around this, and you won't see, the average coach, use this, but it works to a T. And so I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well, I will say
yeah.
before you continue, is if he does have the 2 guard, and he puts them in front of the Tomb Guardian and in front of the blitz raw.
Yeah.
He blitzes from the corner. You have a square, so then he can easily chain push. So if he knocks that skeleton that's right on that bull centaur and knocks him straight back, he could easily chain push twice. So if he knocks a Tomb Guardian down, he can push your blitz raw over, blitz your Tomb Guardian over, and that's not as daunting as, oh shit, I just base 2 Tomb Guardians in order to blitz 1 Tomb Guardian. So that's one downside of this defensive setup, is you have a natural box, so it's very easy to chain push. But you did set them back far enough to where they can't chain push a player onto the line of scrimmage. That's something to be careful about too. So if you set up in boxes like that, in this case, you know what you're doing, so you're not going to get in a lot of trouble. But when you're playing, you want to avoid T-shapes and boxes for your opponent,
right?
Because they'll utilize that, and you'll get in a lot of trouble really fast. You get players surfed off the field. You'll get players that you thought were safe and put them in the line of fire. Maybe if it's your ball carrier. So it's just another deal there, just to be careful about. So.
Yeah, and also I'm hedging my bets with having my strength 5 guys on the outside. So it'd be different if I was like an elf team, and then he I'd be in trouble then. But hedging my bets with the strength 5, and because he only had 3 guard, one of those guard has to go on the line of scrimmage to help the other guys out. Then he's gonna want almighty blow hits. So then there's gonna be 4 Chaos Dwarf blockers on the LOS. One of them at minimum is going to have guard, so then he can't do the play that you mentioned because the guard has to go elsewhere. Plus he has to try and defend against a blitz. So like I said, it left him with very few options.
Right. Well, if I were the Chaos Dwarves here looking at your defensive setup, I would basically forego the blitz unless there was a player on the LOS that was still standing, and then I would just blitz that one.
Yeah, and
you don't want to base a Tomb Guardian unless you're going to take it down. If you can't take the Tomb Guardian down, do not base it.
Exactly. Do not risk it, and that's really difficult for a player to do. One, because everyone expects to get a favorable blitz, and 2, when someone lines up like I did, which is extremely rare, now you really don't know what to do. So you have 2 minutes, you got hit with a formation that you haven't seen before, and now you're like, well, this stinks, because I'm used to, as Chaos Dwarves, if you receive, you're excited, you're like, okay, I'm going to get removals, and I'm going to slowly grind this team away. When you're Chaos Dwarves versus Tomb Kings with these levels, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get to grind this team down, I'm going to take punishment back. Now all of a sudden I have to worry about who's going to carry the ball. Do I want a Bull Centaur carrying the ball and taking him out of the fight? My Hobgoblins will get targeted. my Chaos Door blockers all of a sudden aren't safe to just push their way through. So it's going to be rough for them. So let's unpause and see what my opponent decided to do upon seeing my setup. So there's one Chaos Door blocker on LOS. There's the guard. There's another Chaos Door blocker.
Yeah, and I do like the offset LOS, because what we didn't say was if you got a perfect defense,
yes,
you
go
can
all the way
move
to
them to the opposite
yeah.
side, and then you're not taking hits.
Right, not taking any. So here we go. So he has to defend against the blitz, so he can't mash in like he would want to. He's got to have people back to carry the ball. And so now he just has to hit, and he wants to follow because he wants more hits afterwards. I was really happy that he didn't knock down the second skeleton, because now that meant that I was going to be able to retaliate with that guy. And the skeleton's good. And now he had to blitz that skeleton. There was no other blitz. There was no other favorable blitz on the table. So he blitzed the skeleton.
Yeah. Well, and that's a smart blitz.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Bad result on the dice, though.
Yeah. It was a smart blitz. He had to do it, though, because of the way that I set up. It's whoever wins that war of what I want to do versus what I'm forced to do, that's super important. So as you can already see, the vibe is totally different from the Nurgle and Khemri start versus the start in this game. So I'm safe to move in with the guard, and I'm just gonna block straight ahead here. I'm not in any rush.
Yeah, his team is already like separated a little bit.
Yeah, his teams are separated. I've already won the first exchange, and now I'm just taking my free hits. I'm not gonna get out of position, and I'm not gonna expose my guys. So first move is to bring that guard in and protect that, because that block, Mighty Blow Tomb Guardian, is going to be doing the majority of my blocks. He has to be protected. Then I'm going to shut this wing down. In case he wants to sprint down the sideline, I'm going to let him know he can, but there's going to be resistance. And I'm protecting this Tomb Guardian with this guard. Again, I'm trying to bait him into blitzing my Thorot that has Russell. So he's going to go right back to try to use Mighty Blow on the skeletons. And now, because of the initial setup, he feels inclined to get, connected. And all of a sudden, we got 6 of his 11 players in contact with mine. Here's a blitz. So again, we're going to trust an AV9. He had to allocate 3 resources for that blitz, and now he is in trouble. He didn't really feel it at the time, but trust me, he's in trouble. I already know who my first target is on this play. It's going to be this Hobgoblin right here. Because I have guard on the ground, I can stand up the guard safely. I can block him away, so guard's not on my Tomb Guardian, and I'm going straight for the weak link. And he put him there because he wanted to protect his Bull Centaur. And there we go. So now he's already down a guy on turn 3. And I'm going to run back. I'm going to protect him because he's also going to do a lot of work for me.
Yeah, he's your sniper.
Yeah, and we're just going to shift. We're going to shift, and we're going to take this block. So I wanted to follow up to get another block, but that would have undone everything that I did to protect these Tomb Guardians here. So I didn't. Another important thing is being able to leave blocks on the table. You don't have to take every block that's afforded to you. So the important thing was to stabilize, protect my important players. You see this meat cube again, and it doesn't look like much, but it's serving a purpose. It's protecting all the guys that I want protected, and again, only leaving him with a few options. I could have taken a 1-die. I didn't want to do a 1-die, fail it, look and see that he has Mighty Blow, and feel inclined to re-roll it. So again, I left that block on the table. I let him have it. It wasn't it wasn't a huge deal that he got removed, because that was the first guy that got removed in 4 turns. So I was fine with that. He had to bring in his Bull Centaur to blitz. Got his other Bull Centaur stuck, and also got these guys stuck. So again, turn 4, his turn 4, and we're still winning the momentum battle and the positional battle.
Yeah, because the Centaurs, it's very easy to get them stuck. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys do have break tackle, but it's very hard to get them unstuck.
Oh yeah, and so right here,
basing them is just the easy part. But
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So I was gonna let them know. So when he lined up like this, I instantly knew what my next move was gonna be. I got Mighty Blow. He was based between 2 Mighty Blow guys because he wanted the hits, and I wanted to blitz down to get another chance at Mighty Blow to remove him. So I did. Once that got removed, I was like, okay, I have a dirty player skeleton that I fielded on purpose. I know I had to put him on the LOS, but that's fine. If he survived, I knew he was going to be useful later in the drive. So here's a foul, key foul, with dirty player, 3 assists, and we get the removal. So now he's down 3 players on his own drive. I've been in contact very little. The most blocks he's gotten on a single turn was the opening turn.
Yep.
So
those 4 hits.
Yeah, 4 hits, which is normal. But then after that, he had a turn with 1 hit. He had a turn with 2 hits. So now we're on turn 5, and again, he's having to use 3 resources just to blitz 1 Tomb Guardian, and now 2 of them are stuck. And now both Bull Centaurs are also exposed for a blitz. Now he has to bring in yet another Hobgoblin to protect the Bull Centaur and his Chaos Dwarf blocker. Last time he did that, we blitzed the Hobgoblin and we scored the KO. So again, here's my sniper. He's safe. We gave up this sideline on purpose because we knew how far back the ball carrier was. He's not going to be able to score. So as slow as we are, we'll have plenty of time to all come back here. And here we go again. Like I said, these are my targets, the Hobgoblins. I didn't get the knockdown, but it's fine. We're still in position. I got another 2 die here because of the guard, and my sniper is safe. We move that Tomb Guard and get a 3 die. I'm not going to follow because I don't want to get out of position. I want these Tomb Guardians able to react at any moment, and I also want them free.
Well, in that case there, you knocked a guard player back into a different Tomb Guardian.
Yeah.
So now that guard player is separated from the rest of his guard.
Exactly.
And you want your guard together as much as possible. So
right.
You've separated his guard very intelligently. So now he's going to have to figure out some sort of way to put his. See, you put your. You took that block with the skeleton. You put him right next to your Tomb Guardian. So now he's got 2 guard players, and they're only facing 1 player.
Right.
If you're able to do that, that's very, that's the way to neutralize guard.
Right. And he's not going to dodge him out. Those guard players are literally useless, and it's already turn 6. So he's down. Like I said, he's got 3 players off the pitch. It's turn 6. Now he's desperately trying to score, and now all that space that we gave up to the turn before, he has not been able to take at all because we've neutralized. So he's down 3. He's basically down 5 because these 2 guard players are doing nothing for him. Really down 6 because now this Chaos Dwarf blocker is based. And so now it's virtually 5 versus 10. And I noticed that there's a free shot on the ball I had to re-roll that to get this sniper around to blitz him. And so before I do that, because I know how the game works, I usually go wrong. I've already used a reroll, so now I'm trying to make it so if I do fail, he can't go anywhere. Because I've already worked hard to position all of my guys. I don't want to see this opportunity squandered. So that's why you can see me moving everyone first. And I do the blitz, and unfortunately, it's a 1 in 9. That could have easily been a POW. If it was a push, he's stuck on a tomb guard, and I follow, and then he's stuck. He can't go anywhere. So I'm actually going to pause it here. So we don't have to watch the whole match. I'm not going to have you guys do that, but I wanted to show you guys how important a single defensive formation can be and how it bled over into literally 4 or 5 turns. And he was never able to recover from that. He had his knockdowns, you know, but everything came at a price. In order to get those 2 dies that he wanted, he had to base 2 people at a time, then blitz with a player that he did not want to blitz with. He wanted to blitz with Mighty Blow. He had to blitz with his Bull Centaurs often because of how we set up to stop him. And then once that happened, I was able to foul him, remove a guy. I was able to 3-die a short blocker, remove him, and just spiral. So keep that in mind. Don't think a kickoff is just for the kickoff. It's all about who you want to get hit, who you want to protect. The lack of attrition is huge. So yeah. So just do that next time you guys play. Do you want to add anything, boss?
Oh no, yeah. This I think you covered it all, and
Yeah.
you know, ultimately it's a game of position. You
Yeah.
can't rely on knockdowns and removals.
No.
Those are just, you know, the cherry on top of the pie there.
Right. Right.
You definitely, you know, each block has to serve a purpose. Each player has to be in a good position. And a player can't be in good position if they don't start in good position.
Right.
So
Right.
definitely gotta try to position them properly at the start of each drive.
Yeah, each drive. And you guys will notice, if you start playing like this, you'll notice your opponent's taking more GFIs, right? More passes, more handoffs, and that's a sign that they're getting outplayed. And that's exactly what you want. You want them to roll more dice than you. It's perfectly fine to be outrolled. All right, it's not about how many dice you roll. It's about the quality of dice that you roll. You want your opponent in this game to roll more dice than you because it's a greater chance that something will go wrong, and then you're able to capitalize on it. You'll see in this match, I only did. It's turn 7. I've only done 2 GFIs all match. 2.
Yep.
And the ball surrounded. He's down 3 guys. I had a free hit on the ball. That's a sign of always being in position despite having the slower team. So yeah, I don't want to make this too long, but I did want to go over that. I just want to thank Boz again. We both have busy schedules, but you guys love the videos and we love making them. So we made time for it. Like I said, it was something that we were both passionate about. And we just wanted to show you guys that. So we're going to sign off. I definitely want to thank Boz again for hopping on. And we will see you guys on the next one.